Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto rejects Konoha Naruto x Hana. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by EAGLE12 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. I do not own Naruto, just my ideas. It was a beautiful day in sea country, the sun was shining, there was a cool breeze blowing, and the only sound was the waves and gulls and a radio playing Pirate Flag by Kenny Chesney, don't own. As a man with a dark tan, sandy blonde hair and a pair of Ironman shades was laying on a beach chair on one of the few private beaches with a beer by his side. Reaching for the beer, he noticed he couldn't move his arm as several dark shadows toured over him. "You ain't know you're trespassing, right?" the man said with a heavy southern drawl. "Troublesome, but yes, we know. We will be on our way if you could please inform us where we could find the hound," one of the shadows said. Glancing out of the corner of his eyes, the man saw 3 Anbu officers surrounding him and a 4th had his shadow stretched from the base of the palm tree he was under. "So, why are you looking for the hound, Konoha Shinobi-san? Last time we got an offer from your village, didn't my boss shatter the fool's arm? Can you tell us your name so we know who we are talking to?" the female ninja with long red hair and a gamma mask asked. "Sure ninja-san, the name is Dirk," Dirk said. "So what is it that you want to speak to the boss?" Dirk said as he tried to move his arm again, only to meet frustration. "Our Hokage wants him to track and find a person for him," the Anbu with a beetle mask said. "And who would this person be?" "Uzumaki Namek is Naruto," the green-wearing turtle-masked Anbu said. This caused Dirk to glance toward the Anbu with a deer mask and the shadow connecting him. "Think you can release your move? I ain't going anywhere." Soon Dirk felt him regain control of his body before pulling his shades down and giving them a "are you fucking with me" look. "First, you all are insane if you think the boss would go after him, he's double S ranked for a reason. Second, even if the boss wanted to go after him, which he doesn't, any mission he takes from Konoha starts at the price of 50 million ryo. Third, the boss would not sell out his blood brother," Dirk said as he grabbed his drink, only to feel himself sinking. Looking down, he sees the sand that he was on his turn to swamp muck originating from the hands of the Gamma Anbu. "You will tell me where he is now or so help me you'll what attack an unarmed civilian?" Dirk retorted. It was then he felt the ground that held his arms and legs solidify and he felt a stone pillar rising from the center of his back. "You will tell me or I will break your back." "Cease now, you are crossing a line of no return," yelled the deer Anbu. "Shut it, Shikamaru, this does not concern you." Gamma yelled back, only to hear her yell in surprise as she was forced to the ground by a large black shape. Looking up, she saw that she and her teammates were pinned under black dogs that were the size of a mini fridge in height and as long as a horse-drawn carriage. Looking at the dog's eyes, she saw they were as red as fire and the pupils were as black as night. She felt as if she was standing near a volcano every time its breath hit her in the face. "You should not have done that, bitch. You will now be forcibly removed from the property and Hound Sama will be notified of your transgressions. Unfortunately for you, he will most likely bring these charges up with your Hokage." The large black dog that was pinning Gamma spoke as he latched his teeth around her body and threw her the 50 feet over the large stone wall, causing her to hit the ground right where her disruption seal was placed over a security seal. She was soon followed by her 3 compatriots who landed around her. "Damn it, Talia, we probably just got the hound to black mark Konoha because of your actions. He's gone and, even though I want him back just as much as you do, we are lucky that he hasn't taken his revenge against anyone," Shikamaru said as he stood up, causing the Talia to look down in shame. "Right, let's head back since this troublesome mission was obviously a failure." The rest of the team just nods as they run back towards the docks where the boat they took here was docked. Back in the compound, 2 of the dogs had dragged Dirk inside the beach house and had laid him on the couch. "Beowulf. Tia. Send Jasper to the boss and Shade to our mutual friend, they would want to know that everything is going according to plan," Dirk said with an evil smile, wondering when it would take effect. The next night, Talia started to sweat profusely as an eerie red glow seeped out from under her cabin door and no one noticed that the crew was a sailor short. Konoha same day. Minato Namikaze sat behind the desk in the Hokage's tower going over paperwork. Looking at the date, he noticed that it was the 5th-year anniversary of their return to Konoha from the capital where he, Kushina, and their daughters Kaiko and Naruto's twin Talia had lived, trained and worked after sealing the Kyuubi. At first he thought it would be a great idea to leave Naruto here. That however all went to shit the week they returned. It was a week too late, for they had discovered that not only had Naruto had been banished for bring back Sasuke from when he defected, not only had Jiraiya failed his promise to watch over Naruto, not only had Kakashi tried to get Naruto killed by refusing to teach him anything, but the villagers, the Kami-forsaken villagers, decided that Naruto was the Kyuubi incarnate. There was no physical abuse, except for the Chunin instructors going full force against Naruto in the academy, along with sabotaging his education. No, they had done everything in their power to make sure he died. Be it from shoddy equipment, the seals on the Kill Me orange jumpsuit he wore, or even selling him expired food at triple the price. It was only thanks to the Ichirukas, who had packed up and left when they discovered that they had abandoned Naruto, the deceased Sandami, Kurenai, Anko, Hana and her mother Tsume, Yugao, and her now deceased fiancé Haid, Tsunade and Shizune when they came back, that he didn't pull an Itachi on the whole village. Since the truth came out, all of them either tried to avoid the Namikaze family like the plague, or if they had no choice, deal with them for as long as it took and then depart. Tsunade even refused to teach Kaiko anything, even though she was her goddaughter. It had almost come to blows when Kaiko had demanded from Anko info on her brother, which Anko responded by laughing to her face, saying she had no right to even consider Naruto family. It was then that Kaiko said she didn't care, she would bring her brother back by force if she had to, which Anko responded that if she did that, not only would she help and leave with Naruto, she would ensure that Kaiko would never be able to have children. Indami-sama, the voice of his secretary over the intercom, broke him from his thought. "Yes, Shizu-chan. There is a man out here who wishes to speak with you, sir." "Alright, send him in." As the oak doors opened, the man walked, picture Izo's outfit from Assassin's Creed 2, except the color scheme is black cloak and red belt. He easily stood 6'1" and had 2 scimitars on his back. Their handles appeared to be solid gold. "My secretary said you wanted to see me." "Yes, Hokage-san. However, can you please call the 2 loyal Sannin, Anko Mitarashi, and the last loyal Ichigo?" The man says with air quotes. He will be referred to as A from now on. As Minato wonders why he wants them here, he does what the man asks. After everyone arrives, even Kaiko and Kushina came wondering why Tsunade and Jiraiya were called. "Well, now that everyone is here, I can deliver my packages." He says, with a smile that was like a fox, as he pulls the 3 scrolls from his belt and unseals the mangled bodies of Orochimaru, Kasemi Hashigaki, and Itachi Uchiha. Those looking at them were barely holding their lunch down. Kaiko actually throws up, and Anko was dancing for joy at seeing the body of Orochimaru. Each was in worse condition than the last. Orochimaru had his chest cavity ripped open and the bottom of his jaw missing. Kasemi was in worse shape as his chest cavity was also destroyed. His left leg was gone from the kneecap down, and the bone was showing, and his right arm looked like it was forced against a cheese grater. Itachi, though, was the worst. His body was barely kept whole by what remained of his spine, both of his arms were missing, and both of his eyes looked like they had been ripped out of his skull. In fact, they were totally missing. "Who did this?" Sasuke demanded, wanting to know who deprived him of his revenge. Smiled as he pulled down his hood, revealing black spiked hair with veins of red running through it, with a strand of silver falling over his face. His blue eyes sparkled with amusement, and that damn smile never left his face. "Well, I mean both me and Naruto Sora killed Orochimaru with the help of our summons. Then we ran into Itachi and Kasemi a few years later. Naruto killed Itachi and well, I dealt with Kasemi. We were hoping to get the 3 great traitors. But, you never went rouge again." Says with a smile. "Who's is Naruto Sora?" Kaiko asked as she got her hopes up. Naruto Sora was formerly Naruto Uzumaki. He lets this set in and watches with amusement at their reaction. The Namikaze, Anko's and Sannin's faces were filled with pride, while Sasuke's face was filled with pure rage. "Arsachi did this?" Kushina said with pride in her voice. A's smile got extremely vicious that it frightened Anko. "So you are, in his words, the useless fangirl egg donor," turning to Minato, "so that must make you the sperm donor." Says, watching their faces turn from pride to rage to shame. "So if you will pay me what is owed, then I can give Naruto his cut and be on my way." Minato, with his head down in shame, hands him a scroll and tells him to head to the bank. They will give him what is owed. Pulling his hood back on, he turns to leave until Kushina asks, "Can you tell me where my Sachi is?" "Ha. Starts laughing, not a funny joke laugh, no, it was total mockery before his voice got as cold as ice. "You have no right to call him that, so no." He continues on his way out until shink the sound of a sword leaving its sheath is heard. Grabbing the 2 scimitars, he unsheathes them and turns around and sees Kushina's blood-red katana out. "Put Benahim away or I will have Ra destroy her." Says as both scimitars begin releasing intense heat and were bathing the room in a golden light. Kushina's eyes widen at A's statement. Before a fight could break out, a large black mastiff leapt out of the shadows, scaring the hell out of everyone in the room, except A Summoner Sama. "I have been told to inform you that a group of Konoha Anbu broke into your compound and one of them assaulted Dirk. The one who did the crime wore a Gama mask, had long red hair and smelled like toads in them." The large dog said, while glaring at the Namikaze family. "Thank you for informing me, Jasper. I need you to head to the capital and request a judge be sent here, since the Hokage can't be trusted, since this is a family member being charged. I also need you to let me know how Dirk is doing, and I will send you a reward," later A said as the large hound bowed before leaping back into the shadows and disappearing from sight. "Well, it looks like your daughter is causing problems, Hokage-san, and before you ask, I am pressing charges for breaking and entering, trespassing, and assault on a civilian employee." A said without turning around, he then continued to walk towards the door until he heard the sound of chirruping birds. Turning around, with his sword still out, he saw Sasuke's hand covered in lightning. "You helped take away my revenge, now I'm going to take your life." Chidori Sasuke screamed as he charged Shiraian spinning madly. As he quickly closed the distance, A just sidestepped him at the last second and brought his swords to strike, one going low the other going high. Moyasu Ra burn Ra 1. Soon it felt like all the moisture in the room evaporated as they saw him slash with both blades before walking towards the Hokage as the sound of something charred hit the ground before Sasuke started to yell in extreme agony before falling to the floor. "Next time, Hokage-san, keep your ninja on a shorter leash. Or the next one will not only lose their eye and what makes them a man if they are male, but their life as well." A said as he exited the room, leaving a howling Sasuke on the floor, gripping the remains of his junk and his left eye. "Tsunade-san, please tell me that the Uchiha participated in the sperm bank?" Minato asked with desperation in his voice. "Nope," she answered as she started to heal Sasuke. "Right now I'm going to have to listen to the civilians bitch about the Uchiha, how could this get any worse? Well, I can't save the eye or repair the eye socket, so he's permanently blind in the left eye and sterile." Tsunade said as she stood and looked around the room. "Where's Kaiko?" she asked as they heard the large oaken door close. Walking down the stairs, Ed decides to find out what the wanted stalker wanted. So stopping at the nearest window, he steps up and leans on the glass pane with his hands in his pockets before flashing through a short set of signs and whispering Mighten. Ochimina Kage Dark Release Mischievous Shadow 2, causing his shadow to take shape as it stretched out on the wall in front of him and to the left. "What do you want, Gaki?" asked, the annoyance evident in his voice as he stood up straight and saw the corridor they were in was abandoned. "The name's Namek is Uzumaki Kaiko, genin of Konoha and future Hokage, and you will tell me where my brother is?" Kaiko demanded. Looking at the girl in front of him, he put her age at around 13, maybe 14. She had long red hair and pale blue eyes that stared out from her heart-shaped face. If he had to guess, she was around 5'4", maybe 5'5". "Gaki, I don't care who you are, I am going to tell you the same thing I told your bitch of a mother, you have no right to call him that, so leave me alone until the trial." I said, seeing her getting angry. "If you're not going to tell me, then I will make you." He was surprised when he felt her chakra spike as she held out her hand and formed the Rasengan. What is that idiot thinking, teaching her that move? She's going to kill herself. "All well, not my problem," A shrugged as he stood still. "Rasengan. We here at Team Eagle do not wish harm on any child." Kaiko yelled as she charged towards him, only to be sent flying towards the open window he was leaning against as he dodged and his shadow tripped her before dispelling. I watched as the Rasengan hit the window still, blasting Kaiko out of the tower. Walking away, I saw a standard cannon folder. Bad no. Thinking like that, Chunin rushing towards him, "What happened here?" the confused man asked as he saw the destroyed window. "You might want to go get the Hokage." "Why?" "Cause his daughter just tried to bum rush me with a Rasengan, probably thought I've never seen one before and tried to catch me unprepared. Idiot child ended up tripping over something or nothing and blew herself out the window." As stated before, a loud boom was heard before a loud voice shouted. "My cabbages." Looking at A, the Chunin quickly ran to the window before shushing away. "Well, that was much better than what I had planned originally," A thought as he walked away. Same time as window incident in the capital. "Silver San, a message has just arrived to me via summons. Apparently a ninja is being tried and the client does not believes that the Hokage will be fair and impartial, seeing as the ninja is his daughter. So Silver San, I am giving you full Imperium in my name to sort this matter out. You will contact me with your final decision before sentencing so that I may approve of this since you represent me. Also, I want you to deliver this decree since I believe a certain friend of ours gets what is rightfully his." A man with a full Manchu and an extremely tall hat said as he handed a man wearing a long flowing cloak, picture Izo's outfit from Assassin's Creed 2, with silver hair that had blue streaks in it and a single streak of black in the center, blue calm eyes and a fox-like grin. He was easily 6'0", a scroll. "Of course, Daimyo-sama, and I agree with you 100% on your decision," Silver said as he bowed and left. "Everything is going according to plan." Konoha General Hospital's operating waiting room. Minato Namikaze regretted a lot of things in his life. The death of his students Rin and Obito, killing all of those Iwanin in the war, failing to stop the masked man that night from summoning the Kyuubi, and the decision that he convinced his wife, of 20 years now, to agree to. Thinking of that night, Minato quickly sank into one of the cloth-lined chairs and released a heavy sigh. Flashback no jutsu. "Naruto, remember I love you and to cough protect your SS sister." Minato said before closing his eyes on the mortal world for the last time before following his wife into death's embrace, or so he thought. Opening his eyes, Minato saw that he was standing in a field of pure white. Okay, where the hell am I? This is so not what I thought the Shinigami's stomach would look like. He thought as he looked around, only to see his wife, Kushina, standing right beside him. Minato quickly tried to move towards her and call out to her, only to discover no sound coming from his mouth and his body refused to move. Soon the knife-holding creepy robe-wearing figure of the death god appeared. Who dares to keep me from taking what is rightfully mine and escorting on the departed? The Shinigami demanded, his voice sounding like the rattling of bones. I dare you, worthless ferryman. A voice said as a large dark shadow loomed over the two ninja. You cannot interfere in this, whelp. The man here has paid the ultimate price for our agreement, now the deal must be finished. The death god said as he reached into the shadow, only for his hand to turn into that of an old man's in black robes. He quickly pulled it back as the figure chuckled, you are and always will be weaker than me, ferryman, ever since our old master's fading and you gaining your new powers by these new gods. I have grown on par with the first level of the old gods. I may not be as strong as our old master, however I am strong enough to take down some of his lesser brethren, a feat that you still cannot do. This caused the death god to growl in frustration. Now usually I wouldn't encroach on your territory. However the three have asked me to offer you a deal. The shadow said. What do those three want? They have no power. Before the fall they decided to weave a final yarn for the world's greatest hero. Currently they are nearly the end of the thread, though they can no longer view the future, since the events in the immediate future will decide his fate. So they have asked me to offer you a deal. What type of deal and what is the color of the thread? The Shinigami asked. Simple, you take whatever two souls that are of equal worth to these two that are in my domain. In exchange you let these two return to the land of the living and the thread is a red thread of fate. So do we have a deal? Fine, but there is one stipulation I want to add. And what may that be? Since they summoned me to the mortal plane, I will take most of their chakra, leaving them with the amount they had as genin, along with a seal that will slowly fade as their reserves replenish. Which for these two should take anywhere from 10 to 11 years, since their bodies have been officially dead for 2 days, their chakra coils will need time to fully recover. That is agreeable, these two probably won't screw up too badly. With that the god of death plunged his hands into their chest and ripped out 2 watermelon-sized blue orbs before disappearing. Soon both Minato and Kushina felt a pull on their bodies as they vanished from the field of white. Unknown to the two godly beings, Minato had heard their conversation. Opening his eyes, Minato saw that he was in the morgue. Looking to his left he saw Kushina was stirring. Kushina, we're alive. Minato exclaimed as he tackled his wife into a hug. Yes, we are, Minato-koi. Kushina whispered as tears cascaded down her face. Come on, let's go get the kids. Minato, if we are alive then what happened in that place is true, everyone thinks we're dead and we won't be at full strength for a while. If our enemies found out. Kushina trailed off with fear in her eyes. I get what you're saying, so Henge no Jutsu, Minato said as he turned into a nondescript brown-haired man, with Kushina doing the exact same thing a moment later. After they had left the morgue, they soon saw the whole devastation that the Kyuubi caused, even the house they were living in was destroyed. They were also hearing the anger from the people and heard how they would be going after the fox boy. How do the civilians know about Naruto's status? The only people who are supposed to know are the clan heads. Minato thought as they kept walking towards the orphanage, only to be forced aside as a mob of civilians and ninja that were racing towards the orphanage demanding blood, only to be stopped as a group of Anbu arrived before ordering them to disband. After entering the orphanage they saw 2 Anbu escorting a man who was holding a bloody kunai in his hands and yelling how he was going to avenge his wife. Before they could run off and look for their kids, a worker came up to them. Hello, are you two looking to adopt? The woman asked with hope in her voice. Yes, we are looking for a newborn. Kushina answered before Minato could open his big mouth. Oh, that is excellent, please follow me. Do not have any experience with adoption, so please forgive me if this seems like they are adopting a dog, cause that's the closest experience I have had, the woman said with jubilation as she led them to the next room, where there were several cribs set up and several sleeping babies. If you want any info on the children please just ask, the woman said before she signaled the hidden Anbu to be on guard. Arriving at the crib they see their sleeping children, Naruto with his blonde hair and Talia with her hair already taking a red quality to it. They also noticed that Talia was missing a small chunk of her earlobe. It looks like it had been cut off. Can you leave us to discuss this privately? Minato asked the woman, who nodded before walking out. Minato, if this is happening to our children we need to get them out of here. Kushina whispered. I agree with you, Kushina-chan, but the thing is Naruto is much safer here than he is with us. So if we are going to leave we can only take Talia with us. Minato said with sadness seeping into his voice. Kushina looked at him in horror. Why would we have to leave our Sachi here? Kushina questioned him, tears coming to her eyes. Because Kushina, I don't like this either, but it is what you said earlier. We don't have enough chakra to protect both of them, heck we barely have enough to protect one. If our enemies find out that we are alive and target us, we would be putting them in danger, Naruto more so since he is a Jinchuriki. Since that masked man is still out there and Konoha is the safest place for him at the moment. He will have Jiraiya to look after him, and I promise you honey when we are strong enough to defend both of them, we will be a family again. And hopefully by the time we return Naruto will be Konoha's shield and defend the village that he loves and loves him in return. Though how the villagers are acting makes me slightly worried. Nay, this is Konoha, they'll get over their hatred in a year or two and then I will see him as the hero he is, Minato thought. Minato, we can't just leave him here, he's family and Uzumaki's never abandon family. Kushina said as her body was racked by silent sobs. Kushina, answer me this, what would happen if we were found by Iwanins in our weakened state? They would probably try to kill or capture you and torture you before executing you publicly, while turning me into a slave. Kushina answered. But that still doesn't explain why we have to leave Naruchan. Kushina was trying to grasp anything that would keep her family together, she lost it once already and nearly lost it again, she wasn't going to lose it a third time. Kushina, we are not abandoning Naruto, we are hiding to keep him safe from our enemies. If they find us with both of them they would not hesitate to kill either of them while we are fighting, or worse. This way Naruto is being kept safe 24/7 by the nins patrolling the village. We can keep Talia safe by having one of yous hold off the threat while the other takes her and runs. I promise you that we will return soon and be a whole family again. Minato said as he picked up baby Talia and made his way over to the women. While Kushina leaned down and gave Naruto a kiss on his forehead before whispering a promise to him that they would be a family again soon, before following Minato out with tears streaming from her eyes. Poor kid, ever since those idiot advisors leaked Naruto's status to the civilian council, the kid just can't catch a break. Said a female Abu with purple hair. I know what you mean Tora. The other Anbu said as, with the moonlight reflecting off of his swallow mask as he watched the two henge Namikas walk away. Were those two in a henge? Nah, that can't be right, I'm probably sleep deprived from protecting the kid for the past 2 days he thought as he shook his head. Flashback high. The AI screwed up big time, Minato thought as he looked over at Kushina, who rarely talked to him since their return 5 years ago. Hell, the only reason she didn't divorce him was because of Kaiko. Minato sighed again as he looked at the doors to the operating room. Kami, if you are listening, please help bring my family back together, Kushina prayed. A couple minutes later the door to the operating room burst open as Sanada and Shizune walked out. Minato quickly leapt and began asking if Kaiko would be okay, only to get a chakra-enhanced punch to the face, which sent him through 3 walls and a bathroom stall. What the hell were you thinking teaching a genin an air rank assassination technique? Sanada yelled at him. Lady Tsunade, please calm down, and we all know what he was thinking. Absolutely nothing. Shizune said. Tsunade-san, how is my daughter? Kushina asked. Sanada looked at her with an expression that made Kushina's blood run cold before sighing. The surgery was successful and your daughter will be able to walk and continue her ninja career. This caused Kushina to let out a sigh of relief since she had seen several pieces of wood pierce her daughter's legs and hips, one actually severed her femoral artery. However, Sanada said, causing Kushina to grow fearful. Since we had to stop her from bleeding out. We had to choose what to save, her leg or her. Or her what? Kushina asked fearfully. Her ovaries, I'm sorry Kushina, she will not be able to ever have a child because of the concussive damage from the Rasengan crushed them and her womb beyond my skills, if she had been brought in a couple minutes earlier, I might have been able to do something. I am sorry. Kushina could only stand there in shock hearing her little girl would never be able to have the joy of bringing a child into this world. She was quickly brought back to reality when she heard a snort of laughter. Well, this is actually a pretty entertaining scene. Whipping around, Kushina saw A just standing there as he took a puff from the blunt in his hand before exhaling the smoke into the face of a hidden Anbu. You think it's funny that my daughter will never be able to have children? Kushina all but screamed at him. Yes I do, and in my most professional opinion, Naruto would say that karma is a bitch. Naruto would never. Kushina, you don't know Naruto, you only saw him twice when he was a baby. Knowing him he probably would be laughing in your face before punching it. If the changes that A has told us about are true. Sanada said, causing Kushina to back down. Who are you? Why are you, and can you please put that thing out? Sanada asked. Well, for starts, no, I will not put this out. Puff, to answer your first question, I was told to deliver this to you. He hands her and Shizune a letter and several other people, since I have to stay in this back-ass hellhole that does not serve good sake place until the trial is over. To answer your second question, I have been called many things. Murderer, monster, demon, devil, evil incarnate. Though the name I am mostly known for is the Hound, or my really name takes another hit from the blunt as everyone leans in. Which I will not tell you. You know where I can find a place that sells good sake. He says with a smirk as everyone face faults. Yay, the Silver Leaf on the south side. Sanada said. He soon quickly turns to leave. Nice shot by the way. He says as he walked into the shadowy hallway before disappearing. Meanwhile. In the local bar, the Silver Leaf, we find the place on the verge of civil war. On one side we have the Niji, Lee, Tenten, Hana, Tsume, Anko, and Kurenai glaring at Sakura, Hinata, Ino, Kiba, Karen, and Sasuke, who has a blade pressed to his throat. Now you will tell me why you hit the young lady there, and if I don't like your answer, well. The man says as he shrugs while standing between Sasuke and Hana, who had a handprint on her face. The bitch called me a traitor and said that I should be the one to be banished. Well yeah, you should be a one-eyed eunuch, said a voice from the door. How dare you call Sasuke a eunuch? Sakura screeched, with Karen nodding in agreement at A as he made his way to the bar. Well, I kind of have a right to call Sasuke-chan that, since I made him one this afternoon when he tried to hit me with a chidori. I said as he ordered some hot sake cause everyone either glared at him in anger or stared at him in shock, except Anko, who was laughing since she had seen the whole incident. Demon, you are always getting into trouble, aren't you? Not my fault, Silver. By the way, it's good to see you again. How has Sora been? The now identified demon asked as he looked at the sword. She's been good and raw. Same as always, anyway, seeing as you are here I am assuming the daimyo sent you here to proceed over the trial. Demon said as he took a sip of the sake, only to shudder from the taste. This tastes like hot piss. Ah well, I paid for it, might as well suffer through it. Yes he did. Silver answered. Quick question, where are you staying? Demon asked as he finished the sake in one go. The old oak, why do you ask? Silver responded, sheathing his sword as he walked and helped Hana up from the floor. Cause I had to cancel my reservation seeing as I'm about to be surrounded by Anbu. Demon said, much to the surprise of everyone in the bar as the Anbu appeared. Hound-san, you are hereby placed under arrest for assault on Namikaze Uzumaki Kaiko, one of the Anbu said, as most of the people in the bar gasped in shock as Silver face palmed. First off, I did not attack her, she tried to hit me with a Rasengan, which I dodged. Second, I have both the records of the chakra sensor and my summons as witnesses to said event. Demon said as he handed Silver the log from the Hokage's tower, looking it over quickly, Silver saw that he was telling the truth. Gentlemen, I do not know who gave you these orders, but I can assure you those reports are false. Now I suggest you leave or I will be forced to use the Imperium that the daimyo gave me to place you all under arrest for slander. Silver said as the whole room broke up into hushed whispers as the Anbu walked towards the exit. Before they left, however, they heard Demon call out, tell your boss if he is going to try to intimidate me to do a better job. With that, Demon quickly turned his attention to the group that was behind him. So can I stay with you? Demon asked as Silver just nodded as he ordered a drink, watching Sasuke and his group walk out the door. Feeling someone's gaze on him, Silver quickly turned around to see Hana staring at him. Can I help you? He asked. I wanted to thank you for helping me out in that situation. She said. It was my pleasure, Ms. And Yuzuka Hana. Ms. Hana. Silver said as Demon's head shot up at this. You're Hana and Yuzuka? He asked as she nodded in confirmation. Great, I have a letter for you and Anko-san. He handed them the letter. Now if you would be so kind to point me in the direction of Kurenai Yue, Tsume and Yuzuka, Rock Lee, Tenten Hayagashi, Niji Hyuga, and Yugao Yuzuki, I would be most grateful since I still have letters to deliver to them. He said. Well, everyone but Yugao is here. She is on patrol duty today. I can give her the letter for you if you wish. Hana said as Demon took out the letters and passed them out before thanking Hana for helping him, before grabbing Silver and rushing out of the bar towards the hotel, saying something about it serving flamen young. Soon the group dispersed as each headed home to open their letters in private. As Hana escorted her mother towards Naruto's old apartment after delivering the letter to Yugao. Tsume was still pissed at Kiba for banishing her after he defeated her for title of clan head when she returned from the mission. It was only through an old clan law was she able to keep her partner, along with Hana, retaining her title as clan heir until Kiba had kids. With him nearly at throats with the Uchiha who was constantly trying to get her, and Hinata pretty much following him around like a lost puppy, pun intended, she knew that chances of her keeping the title were slim to none. Arriving at the apartment, Tsume quickly unsealed the door and let them both in before reapplying the seal to the door and room. So should we open the letter now, Kasan? Hana asked. Yes, Emoto, let's. Tsume answered as she applied blood and chakra to the seal, unsealing the envelope. They quickly pulling out their letters, they along with everyone who received one, let out a sharp gasp as they finished reading it, letting them fall to the floor as they jumped for joy at the news. Picking the letter that she dropped, Hana read it over again. Dear Inuheim. I know it has been a while since I last saw you, and I know you are probably pissed at me for not writing sooner. Let's just say that things have been a little hectic lately, especially after I found out that those bastards abandoned me. Enough about that, I am more interested in how you are doing, good I hope. However, if the rumors I hear are true, that is not the case. If that duck-ass Team Sasuke or Kiba tries anything, I will personally come and kick their asses before getting you and everyone I care about out of Konoha. Anyway, if you aren't happy in Konoha, I have been able to convince Gaara to allow you and everyone else transfer to Suna, like I did with Khan and his friends. If you want to leave, look for the man demon who delivered these letters and he will get you out of there. If he isn't still in Konoha, send a message to the Daimyo Palace addressed to a man named Silver, he will help. I miss you, Haim, hopefully I will see you soon. Love, your Maelstrom. I own nothing. It has been 3 days since the Anbu team had finally reached one of Hai no Kun's port cities before they set out towards Konoha. During this time they were mostly silent, especially Gama, even though she would grunt as if she was in pain every now and then. As the sun was beginning to reach its peak on the third day, the gates of Konoha finally were coming into view. Finally, this troublesome mission is over. Shikamaru said as they finished checking in with the gate guards before heading towards the Hokage Tower. Upon entering the Hokage's office, they noticed 2 things. First, that his chair was facing away from them, and second, that the atmosphere was entirely different from the usual relaxed atmosphere. Hokage-sama, Anbu Squad 74 reporting from covert mission. Unfortunately, there were some complications, Shikamaru said as he removed his deer mask. Yes, we know already. Minato said as stepped from the shadows along with Kushina and several members of the Anbu Corps. Much to the surprise of the Anbu Squad 76, who quickly turned their attention back to the Hokage's chair as it spun around to reveal Silver with his fingers laced together. Talia Uzumaki Namikaze, step forward and remove your mask please. Silver said as the Gamma mask shinobi stepped forward and removed her mask. Giving her a quick glance over, Silver saw that she stood around 5'7", had short cropped red hair, amethyst-colored eyes, and her Anbu outfit easily showed off her Jore's body. In the name of the Fire Daimyo, you are under arrest on the charges on assault on a civilian, trespassing, act, and you will be tried. Anbu, take her away. Silver said much to her and her squad's shock, the Anbu grabbed her before shushing away. Hokage-sama, are these unyouthful charges for real? Asked a turtle-faced Anbu. Yes Lee, they are, you and the rest of will be testifying as to what happened on the mission. Minato said as he saw Kushina disappear in a swirl of water. Guess she is going to tell Talia what happened to her sister, Minato thought. Sir, will anyone else be testifying, asked a bull mask Anbu. Yes Choji, you along with Dirk will be required to testify. Minato answered. That won't be possible. Demon said from the window, still with a joint in his hand. And why is that? Silver said. I just got info from a very good friend of mine that Dirk has passed away and your daughter is so fucking lucky that his death was caused by some asshole named Haiden or some bullshit like that. He said while looking at Minato for the last part. That is unfortunate. Do you have another person, besides your summons, which witnessed the attack? Minato said, thinking that his daughter was now safe as the only witness were her teammates. Yeah, he was inside the house at the time, but he saw the whole incident. Demon said with a smirk. Minato frowned internally at this. Well, now that this issue has been resolved, the trial will be held in 2 days' time. Silver said as he stood up and walked to the door. Before leaving, he turned and looked at Minato. I just heard what happened to your daughter. You have my condolences, Silver said as he exited the room. Soon the whole room fell silent. Well, this is awkward, Demon said as Minato was glaring at him, so I'm just going to say this. I'm sorry. Minato's eyes widened slightly as he heard the beginning of an apology. That karma is such a bitch. Demon finished as he jumped off the window ledge towards the street below, only to disappear in the shadow of the tower. We now find ourselves watching the alleyway behind the old Ichiruka's raiment stand. A lone crow lands in the alleyway as Demon steps out. Did everything happen like I said it would? Demon spoke to the shadows. Surprisingly, yes it did. The clone lasted as long as you said it would, giving Fu enough time to flee before Haiden's body went up in flames. His head is now at the bottom of the ocean. A monotone voice said from the shadows as a man with black hair, black eyes, and sharp facial features walked out of them. That is good to hear. We may have failed to stop them from getting Nibi, Gobi, and Sanabi. We were at least able to save the Fu from death. Anything else? No, just that AM and her old man said to say hi. The man said as he stepped back into the shadows. Thank you for telling me and let them know I will see them soon, Itachi. Demon said as he walked away. No, thank you for giving me second chance at life, Demon-san. Itachi said as he dispersed into a flock of crows. 2 days later. In the council room of Konoha, the room was abuzz with noise. We can see Talia in a blue silk kimono in the defendant's booth and Demon in a black and red kimono in the prosecutor's booth. Both of them, along with all of the current clan heads and their families, were waiting for Silver to arrive so that the trial could start. As the large oaken doors opened, the room instantly quieted as everyone rose from their seats. Once fully opened, Silver, wearing a black robe, entered the room. Much to everyone's surprise, he was flanked by 3 of the 12 guardian ninja. The first, Shikamaru, and Sakura, who is sitting behind her mother as heir of the Haruno clan, recognized as Sora from the Fire Temple. Looking at his arm, they saw that instead of a beast arm, it was back to normal. The second was a young man with wild orange hair, a black shirt, grey pants, ninja sandals, a bushy mustache, and he had his guardian bandana hung around his neck like a scarf. The third was a young woman, her long black hair pulled into a ponytail. On her forehead she wore the headband for the Nadeshiko village. She wore a grey and black two-piece battle suit, her green eyes scanning the area for any threats, and her guardian bandana tied around her waist. "Good morning everyone, sorry about the tardiness, but an important package arrived from the capital this morning," Silver said, most nodding in understanding. However, Sasuke was not happy being kept waiting. "I would like to know how this applies to the case, and why there is a ninja from another village here. Uchiha-san, I am reaching the end of my patience with you. If you demand one more thing from me, I will have you tried for attacking a man under the protection of the daimyo. By the way, Hokage-san, he is not happy about that incident," Silver said, causing Minato to flinch slightly. "Now if you would like to know why a member Nadeshiko village is here, you would have to ask her yourself." "Why are you here?" Sasuke growled out, trying to prevent an international incident since her village was located on the island border between Hai no Kun and Miz no Kun and was considered an independent power. "The reason I am here is because my leader agreed to an exchange program between the one of the daimyo shinobi and me. Also, my leader said that there was a good man from here and there might be some men worthy of competing for my hand. However, it appears she was mistaken. There are none here who are worthy to fight for my hand," she said, her eyes showing her boredom. "Then why don't you fight me?" Sasuke trailed off since he didn't know her name. "Haiko, and why should I?" she answered. "Because I am an Uchiha and I didn't know eunuchs could reproduce." Demon spoke up, causing Sasuke to glare at him while the council exploded in rage. "Silence!" Silver yelled. "Now Sasuke-san, you will be quiet or I will have you charged with attacking a man under the daimyo's protection. Be lucky Demon didn't charge you with attempted murder." "Demon, be quiet, you will only have a few warnings left," Silver said with all seriousness. "Now we have several matters before we begin. You, the one sitting with the namikazes with the glasses," Silver said as he looked at Karen. "Me, sir?" she asked as she stood up. "Yes, you are Karen Uzumaki Namikaze, correct?" "Yes, sir." "I am sorry for doing this to you. You are hereby under arrest for the following crimes: experimentation on humans, aiding a known traitor, kidnapping, and manslaughter." "Haiko, Cho, please escort her to holding before she is transferred to the prison caravan that arrived this morning from Scorched Rock." This caused many to let a gasp of shock since the rumors of that place told it to be the worst prison in Fire Country. "Why are you taking my daughter there? She has been interrogated already and was given a full pardon," Kushina yelled. If looks could kill, then Silver would be dead from her glare. "Yes, she was." Kushina smirked at this. However, 2 years ago complaints began to come in on her captor and interrogator, Sasuke Uchiha, complaints that would usually go back with a quick apology. This was not the case, as 2 of the letters we received demand to know why the missions that they requested did not include the hero of their countries. When we sent our reply back to the daimyo of Yuki no Kun and the mayor of Nami no Kun, that our records showed that Sasuke-san was the supposed hero of their countries. Do you want to know their reactions to this? They told us that this was false and that the real hero was Uzumaki Naruto, then they demanded to know why we banished him. When we checked our records of this, we discovered that he was placed under the retired shinobi list. Now this is where it gets interesting, since both of them sent copies the banishment order. The Fire Daimyo himself ordered an investigation into Team 7 mission logs, since all mission reports along with client comments are sent to the palace. We discovered that most of the reports showed the Uchiha in a positive light, while casting Naruto in a negative one, except for Naruto's report and the client's comment card. I can't go into full details. However, I can tell you that because of the investigation, Sasuke Uchiha's word means pretty much nothing, along with that of the councils. So to ensure that all matters concerning Orochimaru have been dealt with, including punishing those who have committed crimes against humanity, a new investigation is being launched and all pardons are being rescinded, Silver said, causing the Namikaze family's eyes to widen in fear and shock. "Silver-san, what would happen to my daughter? It is found that she took part in any act?" Minato asked. "Depending on the severity and if she is forthcoming with the info, she could be sentenced anywhere from 2 years in a minimum security facility to life imprisonment in Scorching Rock to execution. Whatever is to happen, her chakra will be permanently sealed," Silver answered. I said it once, I will say it again, karma's a bitch," Demon said with a smirk. "Say that again and I will gut you," Kushina growled out as she stood up and removed Benihim from its sheath. At this, demon rose and removed the Ra from his back and gripped them in one hand before speaking YKGM fusion. Soon the room was filled with a blinding light and waves of heat. When the light cleared, everyone gasped at what they saw. In Demon's hand was now a long pure gold katana that caused the air around it to shimmer from the heat. The pommel itself was wrapped in black leather and had the Uzumaki clan symbol just under the guard. "I told you once, I will tell you one more time, put Benahim away or I will destroy her," Demon said as his sword flared with heat and light. How the hell do you have an Uzumaki sword?" Kushina exclaimed, her daughters looking at Demon in surprise. Everyone else was confused. "Kushina, put Benahim away or I will have you arrested. Demon, this is your last warning," Silver said. As he spoke, his voice caused everyone to focus on him, and much to their surprise he was holding a beautiful silver shortbow. The grip was covered in white leather, the string and dual nocked arrows both appeared to be made out of cyanite, and hanging off of the grip was a pendant with the Uzumaki swirl on it. With a shrug of his shoulders, Demon flipped the sword into the sheath on his back. "I want to know how you two have your hands on Uzumaki clan weapons," Kushina said as she sheathed Benahim. "We will discuss that after the trial, along with other matters. We still have items to discuss before the trial can begin," Silver said as order was slowly restored to the room. "Now before that interruption, I have two other things to do on orders from the Fire Daimyo himself. One of them will be dealt with after the trial. The other one, however, has to do with the reading and enacting of the wills of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze," Silver said as silence overtook the room. "What do you mean by that?" Minato demanded, since he was clearly still living. "It was brought to the attention of the daimyo that when you died neither of your wills were executed, which was found unusual. After some digging was done into the matter, your wills were discovered along with several other documents that were dealt with. Now 5 years ago and several days before your return, but after Naruto's banishment, a messenger arrived and was ordered to execute the wills. However, he was told that Naruto had left on a training trip and he would not be back for 3 years. Well, you can imagine the daimyo's surprise that he was banished. Luckily, Demon here is able to get in contact with Naruto, so everything can be delivered. Unfortunately, with you being alive, we had to make some changes to policy here. So here is what is going to happen. All scrolls containing history, Nintai Kenjen and Fuinjutsu will be handed over, all artifacts, weapons, excluding Benahim and your kunai, and anything that is your possession that belongs to the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan, will be handed over, and I mean everything. That includes anything you got from Yuzu and Mito Senju. Also, the Uzumaki clan bank account will be emptied and handed over," Silver said as in a voice that left little room for argument. "Hi." Both Minato and Kushina answered with their heads bowed. "But now we can begin the trial. Would Shikamaru Nara please come to the stand?" Silver said as the room grew quiet as Shikamaru took the stand. "Now Shikamaru-san, would you please tell us what your mission was, and just to let you know, I will be flipping between the 4 members of the Anbu team per question." "Troublesome, our mission was to find and locate the Hound and ask him if he would work for Konoha." "How did you find out about the Hound's location?" Silver asked. "We discovered his location after talking with several traders from Sea Country," Lee answered. Everyone could tell he was dead serious at the time. "When you arrived at the location in Sea Country, was there any reason why you broke into his grounds when the evidence, which Demon-san presented, showed a clear mark sign for visitors and business deals?" "Well, at first we thought of doing that, then Gama suggested that we go over the wall and knock on the back door," Choji answered as he fidgeted in his seat. This caused most people to look at Talia and sweat drop. "Okay," Silver answered, wondering if the girl was just too damn paranoid. "Demon, was the sign a trap?" "No, I just got annoyed with people attempting to break in, so I put it up to stop that from happening," Demon answered as he took out a cigar and prepared to light it. Only to get a stern look from Silver as he put away while grumbling something that sounded like first his weed and now his cigar. "How did you get over the wall?" Silver asked as he stared at Talia. "Well, we first had to apply a disruption seal to the seals that were on the wall. After a flash of red lightning that shocked me when I applied the seal, we hopped the wall," Talia answered as she gripped her stomach in pain as red sparks danced off her skin. This mostly went unnoticed by everyone in the room, excluding Demon and Silver. When Demon saw this, his face had an evil smirk growing, while Silver kept a straight face. Both had the same thoughts, though it will happen soon. "When you arrived on the property, what did you see and what happened?" Silver asked to the witness. "I saw the man, who identified himself as Dirk, sitting in a beach chair and drinking a beer. We then captured him, asked him for information on the Hound. After he told us that he knew of Naruto's prior location, Talia decided to get the location out of him by force. She trapped him, raised a stone, and started to apply pressure to his back. We were then captured by large black dogs with red eyes and thrown out." Shikamaru, Lee, and Choji answered. After hearing this, most of the council were now glaring at Talia, since she had probably made Konoha an enemy of the Black Hound. Hiba, who actually didn't give two shits about the trial, was wondering if he could capture some of these dogs and have them breed with the Inuzukai hounds to improve them. Now that we have heard from the Anbu team about what they witnessed, Demon, would you call your witness forward? Silver said. Sure thing, Silver-san, Demon answered before nodding towards a man wearing a long traveling cloak who rose and walked to the stand. Would you please remove your hood and state your name? Silver said. Hi, my name is Itachi. That was all he got out as he pulled off his hood revealing his face, which Sasuke then charged him with his single Sharingan swirling. Die. He yelled, charging at Chidori, only to feel his arm becomes pinned to the table. Looking down, he saw 4 arrows of pale light piercing his kimono. Sit down and calm down, Uchiha-san, or you will see why I am called Silver the Hunter. Silver said as he allowed his bow to shift into a silver katana. As what he said began to sink in, everyone who has read the bingo book realized that they weren't just dealing with the Hound, who was a S-rank Ronin, but also the Hunter, another S-rank Ronin. Now would you please continue, Itachi-san? Silver said. Thank you, Silver-san. Now before I was interrupted by the fool over there, who thought I was Itachi Uchiha, who I know for a certain fact is dead, I am not. I am Hitsuja Itachi. Itachi said as he did not even look fazed from Sasuke's attack. Now Itachi-san, will you please tell the court what you saw? Certainly, he said as he began to describe the assault on Dirk, making it sound worse than it actually was. When he finished, Silver stood up. I thank you for all of you who provided testimony to this trial. Now we will have a 2-hour recess while I get in contact with the daimyo to inform him of my decision. In the meantime, no one is allowed to leave the tower. With that, Silver walked out of the room as the clan heads and their heirs either stayed put or went to comfort the Namikaze family. Some even tried to free Sasuke, only to receive electric shocks from the arrows for their trouble. 2 hours later. As the doors to the chambers reopened, a hush fell over the audience as Silver walked and his face still had a serious look on it. After several hours of deliberating with the daimyo, I find Namikaze Uzumaki Talia guilty. Silver said. You will pay a fine of 150 million ryo, 10 ryo equals $1 American. You will also be demoted to Chunin from your position as Jonin, and you will also do 10 months of D-rank missions without pay. Silver said as he slammed his mallet down. Now would everyone but the Uzumaki family and Demon leave the chambers? Sora, will you bring in Karen please? Silver said as he released Sasuke from his temporary imprisonment. Soon everyone left, some giving their condolences to Talia, while Demon kept smirking. As the last person left, Karen was brought back in with chakra sealing cuffs still on her hands. Now you wanted answers, Kushina-san? Silver said. At this, Kushina nodded. How do you have Uzumaki blades? Only someone of Uzumaki blood can wield them, and when me and my daughters went to be tested to see if they could wield them, all of them were gone. So how do you have them? She asked. Silver sighed before they both nodded and rolled up their right and left sleeves respectively. Before I became a judge, I was on a mission here with Demon and Naruto Sora. During that mission, both me and Demon were wounded, severely wounded. To save us, Naruto did a blood transfer and gave us some of his blood and chakra to heal. Since he held the Kyuubi in him, it changed our DNA and made us a third Uzumaki, making us blood brothers to him. Thanks to Demon's and Naruto's summons, he inherited a portion of our DNA, also losing almost all blood relations to both you and your husband. That is how we are able to wield Sora and Ra. Silver said as he showed them the Kyuubi-like tattoo seal on his right arm, while Demon showed them the image of a large 3-headed creature on his left arm. Now would Kushina, Talia, Karen, and Kaiko step forward please? Silver said as he pulled out a golden scroll with the Uzumaki clan swirl on it. That's, Kushina said as she gasped in surprise. Yes, this is the Uzumaki clan codex. On it all are all of the names of the Uzumaki clan. Now place your hands on it and channel chakra into it. Silver said, to which they did as they were told. I, Silver, in the name of the current, past, and future clan leaders of the Uzumaki clan Urbi, call for the banishment of Kushina Uzumaki, Talia Uzumaki, Karen Uzumaki, on the grounds of human experimentation, and Kaiko Uzumaki from the clan, on the grounds of abandoning a child to a life of hell. If the souls of the departed clan heads agree, then please allow your names to glow. Silver chanted, much to the shock of everyone in the room. Even more surprising was that the first names to light up were both Kushina's father and grandfather's names. Soon all but 2 names were glowing. Seeing this, the 4 Uzumakis tried to pull their hands back only to be unable to do so. It has been decided, Kushina, Talia, Karen, and Kaiko, you are hereby banished from the clan. Your bloodline will be sealed, so it will not be able to be passed on, and your Uzumaki DNA will be permanently sealed. Silver said as the scroll glowed bright before it stopped and allowed the girls to be released. As they started to stand, Talia released a scream of pure agony as red chakra swirled around her head. Feeling the release of the chakra, Minato, Kakashi, Tsunade, and Shizune rushed into the room. What is going on? Minato demanded, his eyes soon locked onto the form of Demon, who was grabbing his knees in laughter. What did you do to her? Minato yelled, a Rasengan in his hands. I, hahaha, did haha nothing. This is, haha, from Naruto's seal ha that she broke. He haha charges all of his ha seals with Kyuubi chakra that attacks a random part of the body and destroys it. I had to make these so if anyone who broke into my compound used any attack above C rank, it would either immobilize them or kill them. Demon said as he wiped the tears away. So you're telling me that my daughter could die? Minato yelled at Demon, who kept on smirking. Yep, and you really seem to care about your daughter. It makes me wonder if you ever truly cared about Naruto. Did you lose any sleep at night, Namikaze? Did you wonder if your son was living the life you wanted or was he being treated as the scourge of the village? It makes me wonder if you actually thought of him as anything other than a weapon. Demon said with a smirk as he saw unbridled anger, shame, guilt and regret in Minato's eyes. Shut up. Minato growled out as he prepared to hit Demon, only to be stopped by a teary-eyed Kushina. Minato, stop, we can't do anything to him, he's under the daimyo's protection and is the only one who can get in touch with Naruto to stop this. Kushina said. Yay, Naruto already knows about the situation and he told me it would be a cold day in hell when he helps you assholes out. Demon said as Tsunade began to scan Talia. So what is the chakra doing that is causing my sister so much pain? Kaiko asked as she held her sister's hand in an attempt to comfort her. Well, depending on where it is attacking, the organ or area that is being targeted will either be totally destroyed or damaged beyond repair. A good example of what can happen would be an Iwanin that wanted me to help destroy Konoha. He hopped the fence and when I refused tried to attack me. Only to have the Yoki attack his brain, it melted right out of his skull. Demon said with glee. So what body part is being attacked? He asked. Her eyes. Tsunade said with great despair since nothing she tried would stop the damage. Both Minato and Kushina felt their hearts clench with sadness, knowing that one of their daughters would never be able to bear children in the future, while her other daughter may lose her ability to see in her career. If we get her to the hospital I might be able to save her left eye since the concentration of Yoki isn't that high yet. Tsunade said. Well, that's a new place. Demon said as he pulled out a book that had every muscle, organ, and bone for both male and female on it. He quickly marked the area that was being attacked and what could cause it. Anyways, do you two have an answer for Gaara's question? He asked, much to everyone else's surprise. Yes we do, tell Gaara thanks for the offer, but Konoha is our home so we won't be leaving it. Tsunade said with Shizune nodding in agreement. Alright, Team 9, Kurenai and Anko said the exact same thing. So I'm giving you the same warning, when Naruto comes for vengeance stay out of his way. Demon said as he and Silver walked towards the exit, scarring the shit out of everyone in the room. Oh, I will be by your place by Friday to pick up everything and to ensure you didn't put a locator or any other type of seal on the stuff. Demon called out. As soon as they left, Minato quickly flashed through a few signs before slamming his hand on the ground. Kuchius no Jutsu, summoning Jutsu, he said as a toad with the kanji for messenger appeared. What do you want, Namikaze? The toad said, with venom on his voice. Minato sighed inwardly at this since he and his family were currently despised by most of the toads for abandoning Naruto. The only reason he was allowed to sign the contract was because Bunta saw the reason that they did what they did was understandable. However, he did receive a threat from the Toad boss that if he was ever to summon him to fight anything less than the Nibi itself, he would crush Minato under his foot. He also removed his daughter's name from the contract. Since Naruto wasn't allowed to be our summoner because of your choice, then neither shall our daughters. Bunta had told him when he summoned him to allow Kaiko to be the next Toad summoner. Hello Gima, I need you to find Jiraiya and tell him to get his ass back to Konoha now. Minato told the Toad, who nodded before disappearing in a puff of smoke. When they got outside of the tower, Demon was immediately pulled into the alleyway by someone. Looking at the person he saw that it was both Hana and Tsume. What Naruto said in his letter about getting us out of the village, can it really be done? Tsume asked with hope in her voice. Yep, he made a deal with Gaara to get you both out of here under the excuse of needing a tracking expert and a veterinarian to help teach his ninja to be better at their jobs. Demon answered. And the part about the two becoming one? Hana asked. If you want to see him again, meet me and Silver for dinner at 8:30 at the Silver Leaf, after that you can see him. Demon whispered into her ear. Why? Hana asked. So you can have an excuse about why you are staying in the guest room, because of how late it is. Demon answered before walking away. 11 p.m. Silver Leaf Silver Room. Alright Hana-san, before we bring Naruto to you, we need to make several preparations so that he is not detected, since he will be executed if caught inside the village. Silver said as Demon began closing the windows, the blinds and doors, locking the doors, and searching the room for any seals or hidden ambu. After he finished the search, in which he found nothing, he began to place seals on the walls, roof, floor, doors, windows, and blinds. What do those do? Hana asked nervously. These are suppression seals and anti-detection seals. What we are about to do requires a shit ton of chakra and light, and if we did it without these, we would probably bring the entire force of the leaf down on our heads. Demon answered as he placed the last seal before making the sign for dragon, which caused all of the seals to activate. Alright, we're good to go. Demon said as he sat on the bed facing toward Silver. I always hate this part. He said, with Silver nodding in agreement. Demon stuck out his hand as he grabbed Silver's arm right on the mark of the fox, while Silver gripped Demon's arm right on the three-headed beast. YKGM fusion, the both said as light and waves of chakra began to radiate off of their bodies, which seemed to be fusing together as the seals absorbed all of the output. As Hana closed her eyes as not to be blinded, soon smelt a familiar scent emanating from the bed. Opening her eyes, she saw a man who appeared to be about 6'3", had short spiky blonde hair, looks like Claude's from FFVII, with a pair of bangs framing his face, one black with red highlights, the other silver with blue highlights, a white hood cloak with blue fringes, a white undershirt, a brown belt, Connor's clothing from Assassin's Creed 3, and a silver pendant on his neck with the image of a three-headed dog on it, and the belt Ra, Sora. And a grey katana with black and white leather wrappings on the hilt were being held in place. A pair of dark orange fingerless gloves adorned his hands. Wouldn't be Naruto without some orange. He had black pants on and black steel-toed combat boots on. His eyes were the color of the purest sapphires, he had 3 dark whisker marks on his face that gave him a feral appearance, and he had a smile that seemed to light up the room. When he spoke his voice came out deep and feral, it made her body turn into a great impression of an active volcano. Hello, Inuheim. He said. Hana only whispered out one word, Naruto. I do not own anything except for my ideas. Naruto, Hana said, her voice barely above a whisper. Naruto-kun, she shouted as she tackled him into a soul-searing kiss. It's good to see you again, my Kami Megami, wolf gods. Naruto said after he caught his breath from the kiss before smacking him upside his head. Where the hell have you been after your last letter 3 years ago? Hana exclaimed as tears spilled down her face. SHHHSHH, there, I didn't mean to make you worried, Hana-chan, I'm sorry that I made you worried, it's just. Naruto said with a sigh as he wrapped her in a hug and did all he could to calm her down. It's just what? Hana asked as she sniffled slightly. It's just that after that night the one who I thought I could trust made the finale barrier break. He said as he pulled her closer and inhaled her scent as he told her of that night 5 years ago. Flashback. What the hell do you mean I'm banished, Bachan? Naruto shouted in rage as he punched the wall of the Hokage's office. Naruto, it was either go into exile or be executed. Tsunade said as she hugged the younger blonde who was wearing a black undershirt with a Uzumaki swirl on it, since his jumpsuit had been damaged beyond repair thanks to the damage he sustained fighting Sasuke. Are you telling me that the council actually had enough votes to have me executed? Naruto said in shock, since, not that the councils of Konoha hadn't tried to execute him before. The council was usually deadlocked when it came to votes on the issue. They, and when I say they I mean the civilian council, invoked an old law that stated if they got a 2/3 majority, with at least 4 shinobi clans agreeing with them, that a person possess a threat to a clan they can have that person executed, Tsunade said as tears began to fall. How the hell did they get enough votes? Naruto asked. Well, besides the civilian council, the elders, the Uchiha clan representative, 2 of the minor clan heads, Jiraiya actually voted with them, giving them the necessary votes. She said with more tears falling, only to be thrown back as kill intent exploded from Naruto. That fucking son of a bitch. Naruto screamed before biting his thumb and performing the necessary hand signs for the summoning jutsu, only for nothing to happen. So the asshole had my name removed from the Toad contract, Naruto said as he panted heavily from rage. Naruto, I have to go to the hospital for a few minutes to check on the rest of the retrieval squad. When I return we will continue this, okay? Tsunade asked only to receive a nod from him. As Tsunade descended the stairs she passed a Chunin that seemed to be trying to regain his balance. As soon as she disappeared around the corner the Chunin stumbled to the office door and pulled out a kunai. Inside the Hokage's office Naruto glared at the picture of the 4th. I can understand why you had to seal the Kyuubi into me. But I will never forgive you for ruining my life, you bastard. I hope you burn in the deepest pit of Maki for what you did to me. Naruto said under his breath. It was then his danger sense went off, causing Naruto to throw himself to the ground. He was not fast enough as a kunai ripped through the muscles of his left forearm before piercing the picture of the 4th and lodging itself in the wall behind it. So Hichidian knows how to heck doge. The obviously drunk Chunin said. That is it, I am tired of being this town's punching bag. He dies, Naruto thought as he grabbed 2 pens before rushing the man. The Chunin, seeing that he had wounded the demon, tried to pull another kunai to end it, only to watch as Naruto pierced his throat with one of the pens. Naruto saw as the Chunin swung at him wildly while trying to pull the pen out. Deciding to put an end to the fight before Tsunade came back. Naruto swept the man's legs, causing him to fall backwards. Before the chunin hit the ground, Naruto grabbed the man's face and stabbed the pen into his right eye, piercing it and his frontal lobe, killing the man. He then ripped the pen out, causing the eye to be pulled out also. As Naruto watched the man's now empty socket fill with blood, he heard a soft click behind him. Turning around, Naruto saw the portion of the wall that had the picture of the fourth swing open, revealing that it was actually a safe door. Approaching the open safe, Naruto saw that inside was a tri-pronged kunai, 2 scrolls that had some sort of seal on them, and an envelope that was addressed to him. Grabbing the envelope, he ripped it open and began to read the letter inside. Dear Naruto. My name is Minato Namikaze, and if you are reading this, then you have reached the rank of Jonin or are 21 years old. Hopefully by now you know that you have Kyuubi sealed inside of you. Naruto, my son, I beg of you to forgive me for doing this to you. This was a measure of last resort. Since the night you were born, a masked man took you and used you as hostage before fleeing with your mother, Kushina Uzumaki, and extracting the Kyuubi from her before commanding it to attack Konoha. I looked in every old scroll to hopefully find a way to get rid of the beast and not have to seal it in you. Unfortunately, I discovered no such way. As I am writing this, I can hear the beast roar, so I was left with no other option. Sachi, hopefully the people of Konoha will follow my wish and see you as a hero and not the beast itself. If they don't, then hopefully you will find it in your heart to forgive them and me for your stupidity. I have left instructions with Sarutobi to have you raised by either my sensei Jiraiya or my student Kakashi. Naruto, grow strong, live well and protect what you hold precious, since I know you carry what Sarutobi calls the will of fire, and defend your sister Tailia from boys. Love. Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, and proud to say you're Tusan. This has to be the sickest joke in the history of the world. Naruto thought before he remembered the old man's journal. Placing the letter down, Naruto opened the journal and opened flipping through the pages till he found the name Tailia on October 13th. The day I was informed by the assistant matron of the orphanage where young Naruto, who is the eldest, and Tailia Namikaze reside, that Tailia was adopted today by a young, non-discrepant civilian couple, from what the Anbu said. Both Kakashi and Jiraiya are mad that Tailia was adopted. However, both refuse to acknowledge that Naruto is Minato's son for unknown reasons. Both have gone searching for the couple in hopes of getting Tailia back. After he finished reading, Naruto threw the journal at the far wall, causing it to land spine up. He then walked back to the safe and pulling out the kunai. Walking towards the dark fireplace, Naruto placed the kunai in the center of a pile of wood before igniting it. After returning to the desk, Naruto places the letter on the desk before pinning it there with the pen that still had the eye on it. Damn you, 4th, I will never forgive you. Naruto said as he pulled out 2 blank scrolls from the desk and wrote down 2 letters, leaving one on the desk and slide the other one into his pocket. Konoha, soon you will have to pay the piper. Naruto said to himself as he dragged the dead Chunin over to the wall before dipping his fingers into the blood-filled eye socket. Several minutes later, we find Naruto racing across the village rooftops to the Inuzuka compound to drop off the scroll. Landing on top of a shed outside of the compound, Naruto quickly removed the wooden boards on the roof before dropping inside. Once inside, Naruto quickly removed the bag of spices that he placed on top of the tunnel he had dug back when he played pranks on the clans for stealth training. Humming up in one of the less used kennels, Naruto raced across the compound, evading most of the patrols with ease, which allowed him to arrive at the clan head's compound. Naruto quickly crept to the location of his girlfriend, Hana's room. Seeing that the window was opened, humming loud enough, Naruto saw the triplet stir and bound over to the window. Hey guys, listen, I need to drop something off to Hana now. I need you guys to tell her that I was banished and forced to leave immediately and that I love her, Naruto told them as he climbed through the window and placed the scroll right beside her before giving her a kiss on the lips before disappearing into the night. Back in the Hokage's office, Tsunade had just opened the door when the smell of blood hit her. Looking around the room, she soon spotted the dead Chunin underneath a bloody message. Konoha, I know the truth, I am tired of being lied to. So here is a warning, if I find out that I was lied to one more time, then what happened to the Uchiha clan will be done on the entire leaf. If you even think of putting me in the bingo book, oh honorable council, then the truth of the Uchiha massacre will come out. Tsunade read out loud as an Anbu squad from the lower floor arrived to investigate the smell. Walking over to the pinned eyeball, Tsunade looked down and saw the letter. After reading it over, her only shook her head in sadness since she knew of Naruto's dislike for the 4th. When she heard Shizune gasp, she saw her holding the Sandame's journal. As she looked over the passage that Shizune was reading, Tsunade felt her anger rising to epic proportion. Anbu, bring me Jiraiya and Kakashi now. She said, her voice as cold as ice, which scared the Anbu more than if she was yelling. Neither noticed a single piece of paper go up in smoke. Flashback over. As Naruto took a breath, he was tackled into another hug by Hana before she bonked him on the head. Ow, what was that for? Naruto asked as he rubbed the top of his head. That was for not waking me up when you dropped the scroll off. I would have loved to see you one last time before you up and disappeared into the night. She said before kissing him again. Sorry Hana-chan, it's just I had to leave before the council could catch me, and I did not want your clan to be caught in the crossfire. Naruto said as he ran his fingers through her hair, causing her to close her eyes in pleasure. Fine, I understand your reasoning for it, even though I didn't like it. So what happened after you disappeared, and where did you get the awesome clothes? Hana asked as Naruto chuckled. Well, you are probably going to either enjoy this next part or be very mad at me. So after fleeing Konoha, I raced towards Wave. Flashback start. It has been a little over a week since Naruto's flight from Konoha, and as of this moment we can currently find him sitting in one of the local taverns, getting a hot meal after one of the most annoying missions he had ever taken. First, a client, an archaeologist by the name of Fuji, had hired him to explore the ruins of a recently discovered villa, and the guy would not shut up. Then the fool triggered some sort of mechanism that dropped them into the water-filled catacombs of the building. After wandering around for what felt like hours, they finally arrived an exit that he could easily escape using his ninja skill, jumping from one platform to the other. However, he had to carry Mr. Fuji on his back, and he was not a little man to say the least. After finally getting out of the catacombs, the two had found the bodies of several men dressed in strange armor, which made Fuji giggle like a schoolgirl as he started to do some basic archiving. As they continued on, it appeared the kami had it in for them today, since they soon arrived at a dead end, the roof started to cave in. Naruto just had enough time to summon two clones into existence and have them grab Fuji before jumping out of the way himself. As the wall of falling rocks ended, Naruto looked up at the top of the pill and saw light streaming in. He could also hear the destructive sounds of a Rasengan being used to clear the rubble. Deciding to look to see if there was another way out, Naruto quickly began to climb the rubble pile, causing him to lose most of his clothes due to them being caught and torn on rocks and several pieces of wood. Arriving at the top, Naruto quickly noted that he was in a rotunda of some sort. To his left was what he could easily tell was a sarcophagus with a statue of a man standing over it, and on his right were three statues, one though was buried to its base in debris. Walking over to the one of a man who looked like he was about to jump, Naruto noticed that the base was formed like a dresser and had a set of drawers in it. Opening them up, Naruto saw two sets of clothes, previous outfits mentioned in Ch1, that he quickly sealed up. Walking to the other statue dresser, Naruto opened it and saw only one set of clothing, previous items stated in chapter 3. After waiting a few minutes for Fuji and his clones, Naruto watched as he ran around like a kid in a candy shop. After Fuji had archived most items in the room, beside an unusual blade glove that Naruto had sealed away, they quickly found an exit and went back to town, where he was promptly paid before he watched as Fuji was arrested for grave robbing. Apparently he didn't have a permit. You know, Gaki, you either should get yourself laid or find another job. The Kyuubi said inside his head. Geez, thanks for the pep talk, Fox. Naruto responded as he bit into his dango. During his flight, he and the fox came to a sort of understanding, since both despised the fourth, so the fox agreed to train him and his chakra if he was allowed access to his five senses, which Naruto promptly agreed to. Just saying, Gaki, after all the shit Konoha has pulled on you, you should just watch it burn. The fox said as it chuckled darkly. Save it, Fox, you're just mad that most of the secrets that you knew, that affected me, I already knew. Naruto answered as he picked up another stick of dango. Before he could come up with a snappy comeback, Kyuubi heard something that made him grin from ear to ear. Gaki, channel some chakra to your ears and listen to the two men at the bar. Why? Just do it. Fine. Naruto said as he channeled chakra into his ears to pick up what the men were saying. Man, can you believe that shit? One of the men said. What, that the fourth Hokage is alive and he was living in the capital of the Land of Fire with his wife and two daughters? The other said, yeah, I call bullshit. I swear it's true, I saw his wife and his daughters walking around the market when I was selling my wares. Here it is even in the new leaf. The first man said as he pulled out a newspaper and unfolded it, channeling chakra to his eyes. Naruto saw that the paper was dated 3 days ago. On the front page, Naruto saw the man he hated with a passion smiling brightly at the camera with a red-haired woman that Naruto assumed was his wife and two kids. Feeling he had lost his appetite, Naruto slapped his small stack of Ryo down before he walked out with his hood up. Fox. Yes, brat. Konoha is going to burn and that asshole is going to die. About damn time. If you had taken him with you, I wouldn't be able to use his rage, anger and hatred to help me get my revenge. Well, it looks like we have a stalker, wonder who it could. Why is he interested in the Gaki? Well, good as time as any for a meeting, Kyuubi thought before he spoke up. Gaki, we have a tale, head for the clearing where you met that ice user. It then cut the connection. Deciding to take the fox's advice, Naruto walked as calmly as he could towards the clearing. Alright, I know you are there, so you might as well come out. Naruto called out as soon as he reached the center of the clearing. Well, I am impressed that you sensed me, child, or was it the fox who told you about me? Either way, it doesn't matter. The voice said as a dog as long and as tall as a wagon walked out from the shadows of a tree. Who are you? Naruto asked as he pulled out a kunai, just in case. Well boy, my name is Achilles, and my commander wishes to test you to see if you are worthy to be your summoner, Naruto. The now identified Achilles said as he grabbed a scroll that was tied to his leg and set it on the ground. Go to this location, you have a week's time at most. Hopefully you will pass the test. With that, Achilles disappeared back into the shadows. Picking up the scroll, Naruto opened it. On the inside it showed a map with an X place right at the border between Demon and Swamp Country. What do you think, Fox, should we go and take this test or what? Naruto asked. Aki, I have heard of these summoned creatures before and I think it would be in your best interest if you go and take this test. Alright then, best head out now. Naruto said as he raced back to town. 6 days later. Deep in a swamp, we can see Naruto rushing towards a large forgotten temple. As the sun was just beginning to set, Naruto raced up the steps and into the temple, never noticing the 3 human-shaped blurs that followed him. Inside, Naruto noticed that the place was quite spacious and had a massive amount of pillars and mosaics. At the very back wall was a large marble statue of what appeared to be a large 3-headed dog guarding a gateway. In the creature's paw was a massive scroll. Picking the scroll up gingerly, Naruto quickly unrolled it and noticed that it was a summoning scroll, though he could not read the name of the summons since it was in a language he did not know. He quickly signed his name, Naruto no Sora, since he refused to go by Uzumaki since the discovery that he was abandoned, before biting his thumb, flashing through the signs and slamming his hand onto the ground as a large explosion of smoke filled the room. Well, it looks like the boss was right about you, brat. A large booming voice echoed around the room as the smoke dissipated to reveal a large red dog half the size of Gamabunta that was covered in hundreds if not thousands of eyes. May I ask, who are you? Haha, well boy, my name is Baskerville, second in command of the Maki Inu summons. Now my boss, Cerberus, believes you are worthy to be our summoner, so he has set up a simple test. Baskerville said as he set his paw on the ground before a small plume of smoke reputed from underneath it. Moving it away, Naruto saw a gold ring with a ruby set in the center lying there. Your test is simple boy, kill 3 people while wearing this ring in the next 72 hours, and you can summon us. If you don't, then you will become a hellhound yourself. Baskerville said with a smile that showed all of his teeth. Before Baskerville could dispel himself, both he and Naruto heard the sound of clapping. Turning around, Naruto saw 3 exhausted Konoha Chunin standing at the entrance. Well, it looks as if the demon brat finally did something right for once in his life. So you are going to give us the scroll, and we might tell the 4th you died due to an attack by Iwa. One of the Chunin said as he tried to regain his breath. Not to be rude and all, before I kill you, you all look familiar, can you tell me where I have seen you before? Naruto asked as he picked the ring up and placed it on his right hand. Why, you little piece of shit, it was because of you that we got fired from the academy. The Chunin on the left said as he placed his hands on his legs while panting. Oh yeah, you idiot, screwed with the test scores, raising Sasuke's and lowering mine. Naruto said as he channeled chakra into the seal his hands were making. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, multi-shadow clone jutsu, Naruto said as thousands of Narutos filled the temple, half of them had their hands sticking out as the other half started to swirl their hands around the others. Rasengan, Naruto said as every clone charged the petrified Chunin, it was over in seconds. Damn, did you see the look on their faces when? Wait, how the hell did I know what their faces looked like? Cause the shadow clone sends their memories back to the original when they dispel. The Kyuubi answered before severing the connection. Why the hell did no one tell me this? Naruto thought angrily before he noticed 3 glowing blue ribbons of energy flow into the ring before disappearing and causing it to glow faintly. Okay, what the hell? Haha, well boy, looks like you completed the test, congratulations. Baskerville said with a toothy grin. Can you tell me why the ring is glowing and what that ribbon was? Naruto asked. Well kid, that was those buffoon souls that went into the ring. The ring will allow you to gather 100 souls, which you can exchange with the Shinigami to activate the 5 powers of the ring. The first ability lets you summon our boss Cerberus, the cost for this is 95 of the souls that you have collected. The second ability is known as soul communication, this allows you to send 5 souls to the Shinigami, to have a soul in his control be brought back to the world in a real Genjutsu sphere, to communicate with you for up to 24 hours. The third ability is known as body swap, this sends a soul that you collected in the past 24 hours into a body that has died by natural means in the past 24 hours, transforming the body into theirs, with no damage to the body itself. However, the new body loses something that the Shinigami considers valuable. This ability can only be used once, and the cost is 25 souls. The fourth ability is called the resection of the legions. This can only be used when you have summoned the hounds that can talk to do battle, for the cost of 40 souls you can transform them back into their human form to do battle until they are dispelled. The final ability is called yin-yang split. This one can be used in 2 ways. The first is for the cost of 10 souls you can split your yin and yang in half, which gives them a real body, while you are sent to our summoning realm. Now your yin and yang halves will have their own personality and consciousness. Now your yin half will have black hair with colored streaks in it, red for fire, orange for earth, depending on his elemental affinity. He will also have control over the element of darkness, in addition to having a single bang of silver hair to represent the yang half in him. Your yang half will have silver hair with colored streaks, blue for lightning and white-green for wind, for his affinity, along with a bang of black hair, with the streaks in it for his yin. He will also have control over the element of light. The second way this ability works is where you summon them out while you stay on this plane. There is one side effect: when you summon them through either choice, you and them will have only a half or a third of your power depending on the option, Kyuubi's power included. Do you have any more questions? Yay, I know the toads are skilled with Senjutsu and collaboration jutsu. What are you guys skilled in, and what do you grant any abilities to your summoner? Yes, we do. We are immune to all fire-type ninjutsu, which extends to you to a certain extent. Anything short of a high B rank jutsu will not harm you. Unfortunately, due to this ability you will never be able to use Suiton jutsu. There is more that I will inform you of when you come to train with use in 2 years' time. Baskerville said before disappearing in a plume of smoke. Flashback over. After that I trained with Silver and Demon, who are my yin and yang halves, for a year before I earned SS rank borderline, SSS rank for all of the unusual high rank missions I took and the people who trained me. Naruto said as he took a breath. It was then he noticed that Hana had fallen asleep on his chest. Chuckling silently to himself, Naruto slowly laid down as Hana pulled him closer to her. Across town another discussion was just starting up. What is wrong with you, Minato? Jiraiya yelled at his student as he grabbed his long white hair in exasperation. What in the name of Kami-sama made you think it was a good idea to allow a mid-S rank Ronin to wander around Konoha unsupervised? I had more pressing matters to deal with, sensei, like I don't know, my daughter being in the hospital for falling out of a 10-story window via Rasengan before landing on a cabbage cart. Afterwards I sent Anbu to get him. He was already in the protection of the daimyo's chief judge. Minato said as he said sensei with venom. Who is also a mid-S rank Ronin. But both of you stop arguing, we have more important issues to deal with. Kushina said, causing them to look at her. We need to have Demon-san tell us anything he knows about our son so we can get him back. Kushina said as Minato bent his head down in shame, while Jiraiya did not look pleased. Look, I understand that you want to have your family back together, but we need to concentrate on getting Talia strong so she can take down the Akatsuki, since she is the child of prophecy. I have my entire spy network looking for him and they haven't seen hind nor hair of him except that one time when he was near the Natashiko village 3 years ago. Jiraiya said, only to be getting a death glare by Kushina as chakra became visible around her fist since she could only guess why he was near the Amazonian village. There is another reason why I am suggesting this, since Talia can use your special chakra, it will at least prevent him from using the Kyuubi's chakra if we do encounter him, and with Kaiko's wood style to slow him down, we can place a seal that will at least give you guys a chance to talk without having to worry about having his clones to worry about. Jiraiya said, thinking that he had gotten out of a chakra-enhanced beating only to get punched in the face by Minato. We wouldn't even be in this situation if you and Kakashi had done like I asked and watched him. Minato growled out in anger. Hey, we apologized for your screw-up. However, we aren't the only ones to blame. Jiraiya said as Minato finally backed down. If we can stop him from using the Kyuubi's chakra, then you can probably engage him in a civil conversation, since all he knows are the Rasengan and Kage Bunshin jutsu. Jiraiya said with confidence, which got the other two to start to take Jiraiya's plan into consideration. Jiraiya the Gaki is stronger than any of us could ever imagine. Tsunade said as she walked into the office with a bingo book and a scroll in her hands. Tsunade, how is Talia? Kushina asked with fear in her voice. Well, I have been able to slow the damage to a crawl. However, if Naruto doesn't arrive in a 3 months' time, then there will be nothing I can do from stopping this. Also, this just arrived from the Kazukiage. Tsunade said, handing him the scroll. Okay, so Gara-san needs 2 nins, a veterinarian to help with a recent overflow of injured messenger birds because of a recent outbreak of bird flu, and an experienced tracker to help teach some new tracking nins. We could send Hana and her mother Tsume. Tsunade suggested, causing everyone to look at her. What? Well, we can definitely send Tsume, however we have to discuss ending Hana with Kiba since she is second in line to let her clan. Minato said with a sigh, why can't anything be simple? He thought. By the way, Haim, what did you mean Naruto is stronger than we can ever imagine? Jiraiya asked, only to get punched by Tsunade as she screamed, don't call me that, you pathetic excuse for a man. This is why. She said, showing them the recently released bingo book. Page 126. Demon no Sora the Hound. Age. 18. Rank. Mid to highest rank. Affiliation. Ronin. Elemental affinity. Fire, earth. Peke Genkai. Darkness release. Ninjutsu. 4.5. Hijutsu. 4. Ninjutsu. Unknown can break high-level ones with some difficulty. Ninjutsu. 4.5. Yuinjutsu. Expert. Summons. Maki Inu clan. Known accomplices. Silver no Sora the Hunter details on page 127, Naruto no Sora the Black Hound Aka Naruto Uzumaki details on page 200. If encountered, do not engage unless backed up by 3 squads of Anbu. Bounties. Iwa. 40.1 billion Ryo alive, 25.6 billion dead. Swamp. 29.9 billion Ryo alive, 20 billion Ryo dead. Odo. 20 billion Ryo dead. Reason for moniker. Killed 2 Iwa Anbu squads and Iwa border patrol when he discovered that they had kidnapped and were abusing several Inyazuka puppies. As Kushina read the last part, her eyes widened in shock. Well, at least we can tell Kiba and Tsum who returned those puppies. She said as got weird looks before pointing to Demon's picture. Looking at the picture, everyone heard a gasp from Jiraiya. What's wrong with you, pervert? Got beat by this guy when you peeped on his girlfriend or something? Tsunade asked, looking at him. No, he was the one who beat me and extracted Giratora from me. Jiraiya said as anger entered his voice. This announcement caused everyone's eyes to widen. What do you mean Giratora was extracted? How is that even possible? Minato asked, shock evident on his face. I don't know, I still don't remember most of that day. All I remember is doing some research in the land of Hot Spring and meeting some of my contacts who had seen someone who matched Naruto's description. Then this kid, beats me up for peeking before saying he wants to see if he is as strong as an S-rank nin. I decide to humor the kid and move to a clearing in a local forest way from the civilian population. After that, everything pretty much becomes a blur. Demon dodged a handful of shuriken that I threw at him to test his reaction speed by rolling behind a tree. Minato, I swear to you this kid is faster than you using Hiroshina. All I remember is the kid's fist slamming into me every second from hundreds of angles. It was like the shadows themselves were attacking me before he finally knocked me out with a strike to the back of my neck. When I woke up, there was a note that said thanks for the seal holding the yang half of the Kyuubi's chakra. I immediately summoned Giratora, who was covered with bruises and cuts, and the seal itself was gone. Jiraiya took a breath as he finished, only to be grabbed by Minato, who began to shake violently. Are you telling me that a known S-rank Ronin might be in possession of the Kyuubi's chakra? Minato yelled at him. Yes, it is possible that he has it, so can you stop shaking me? Jiraiya demanded as Minato stopped, before looking at the next page and paling in disbelief. Page 127. Silver no Sora the Hunter. Age. 18. Rank. Mid to high S. Affiliation. Ronin. Elemental affinity. Wind and lighting. Peki Genkai. Light release. Ninjutsu. 4.5. Hijutsu. 4. Ninjutsu. Unknown, able to break high-level Genjutsu with some difficulty. Ninjutsu. 4. Yuinjutsu. Expert. Skill with bow. Master archer. Summons. N.A. Known accomplices. Demon no Sora the Hound details on page 126, Naruto no Sora the Black Hound, Aka Naruto Uzumaki details on page 200. If encountered, do not engage, suggest that if you see him fall back to well-fortified position. Bounties. Iwa. 40.1 billion Ryo alive, 25.6 billion dead. Hang country. 11 billion Ryo dead, 12 billion alive. Reason for moniker. Most targets have been killed by long-distance shots by light arrows. Why are you showing us this, Tsunade? I mean, besides that they are associates of Naruto. Kushina asked. Well, Minato just got the feeling that the trial was decided before it even started. This is why. Tsunade said as she flipped to the last page in the book. Page 200. Naruto no Sora the Black Hound Aka Naruto Uzumaki. Age. 18. Rank. High SS near SSS. Affiliation. Ex-genin of Konoha, Naruto. Affinity. Wind, lightning, fire, earth. Ninjutsu. 4.5. Hijutsu. 4. Ninjutsu. Unknown, though he is supposedly able to break high-level ones with easy. Ninjutsu. 4.5. Ninjutsu. Master. Has knowledge of Uzumaki sealing techniques and jutsus. Summons. Maki Inu. Known accomplices. Silver no Sora the Hunter details on page 127 and Demon no Sora the Hound details on page 126. If encountered, pray to whatever god you believe in that you never encounter him, for even if you flee on sight he will hunt you down. Bounties. Iwa. 1 trillion Ryo dead. Odo. 500 billion Ryo dead. Hai no Kun. 700 billion Ryo alive. Reason for moniker. First known summoner of the Maki Inu clan, in addition to killing any opponents that flee from him. All information concerning him has been taken from the remains of reports filled by survivors who have been found dead the next day. Warning. Able to summon the assistance of Silver no Sora and Demon no Sora without warning. Unknown if this is due to Fuinjutsu or a type of space-time ninjutsu. Everyone could only stare at the bingo book in shock of what they read. What surprised them even more was that the picture in the book was Naruto's ninja license, which was 5 years outdated. I can understand being wanted by Iwa and Odo, but why Hino-kun and why so much? Kushina asked. Cause he is probably associated with the recent deaths of both of their daimyos and several of Hino-kun's nobles, even though they were corrupt. Jiraiya said, causing the Namikazes to look at him in shock. The men were big supports of slave rings and drug cartels. While neither Konoha nor the daimyo had any proof, apparently Naruto found some and killed them. At least according to my informant in the daimyo's court. Well, this is turning into a bigger headache than I thought. Since it's late and we are all pretty much emotional disturbed by this news. We will continue this discussion tomorrow after the council meeting. Minato said as he grabbed Kushina and flashed to their home. What if Naruto rejects Konoha Naruto x Hana? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.